Hello and welcome. I am super excited to be joined by Melissa Valentine. She's going to be sharing all about the energetics to releasing weight. So, welcome in.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited for our chat. So, I want to share a little bit about who you are and then we can dive into the juicy goodness.
Absolutely. So, yes, my name is Melissa Valentine. I have been in the health and fitness field for over 22 years. I started off as a personal trainer, yoga, Pilates, a little bit of Zumba, some dance, all of the things. I was a coordinator, so I've done all the fitness stuff. And I went to school for human biology. And now I run my own business and wrote a book called The DREAM Body Method. And and I've gotten really deep into things like neurolinguistic programming, energetics, like human design, the gene keys, like all of the stuff. And I've created a program called the Dream Body Alchemist, where I do one-on-one, and I also have a program that goes along with it too.
So multi-talented.
Yes.
We can't do just one thing. We just want to sample a little bit of everything. I love that.
And the really cool thing is, as I go, just like the way my mind works, I'm all into strategy. So I'm really good at taking in all of these like topics that dive in really deep, and I'm able to like bring them into like one thing. So everything I've done like over the last 22 years, I've created into this one system called the Dream Body Method, which is, an acronym, but it takes into full account how to basically create your reality and do it in a way where you are releasing you're creating your dream body, but you're doing it on all levels that create reality. So it's based on very systematic way. It's like, okay, what are all the components to creating this dream body, dream life? And like, where are you getting stuck at? Is it the physical realm? Is it the emotional and energetic? Is it your thoughts, your beliefs? Or is it all the way at the top? Is it your actual identity that's going down and affecting all of that? So I've created, I've taken, when people talk to me and they're like, what are you learning now? I'm like, they're like, you were just learning something else before. And I'm like, don't worry, it's all related. I don't know yet, but I'm figuring it out. And then
it does all connect eventually. Yeah, you just gotta follow that pull. I love it. So when people come to you, they're looking for something beyond the traditional weight loss, like the scale, right?
Yeah. So when I am working with people, I like to really dive into like, what is the block for you? Right. Like, and usually, and this is where the energetics comes in. It's like, there's something to do with your energetics and we just have to pinpoint it. For some people, it's everything. And for some people, they have something that's really like solid, but there's some other components that aren't aligning. And so when that doesn't align, it throws everything off. So like when they say how you do one thing is how you do everything, I really believe it comes down to your energy. And that is what's going to affect everything else.
100%. I believe that for sure. Everything's so connected.
Yeah.
And we can't really isolate them and handle them differently because they impact and affect others.
Yeah. And even like, I talk to people about, energetic levels, and I really dive into how everything can be measured, and then, spanning that and go, okay, how are your emotions affected by this energy? What are the conversations you're having based on where you vibrate energetically? And so that energy is going to affect how you think about things, the conversations you have. There's even, if you're like a geek like me and you're constantly like looking into podcasts and this, long form education where I just like to dive in and like give me more, it even talks about, your intentions and the words you speak and how it changes your DNA, epigenetics, and it changes, I speak good affirmations into my tea and my water because it's been shown, even the way you talk to your plants. So everything is energy, everything's vibrating. And so if you're vibrating at this higher level, it is going to affect everything. And that's what I like to dive into with my clients. It's like, what's going on in your world. And sometimes just our conversation, I can see the language that they're using. I can see how their body is, because energy actually, when we're growing, energy, the way it moves through our bodies and our defense mechanisms and how we survive as we're growing up affects the shape of our body. So like talking to someone and even being able to feel their energy affects their bodies, and there's so many cues that you can kind of tap into, that I know like almost instantly talking to someone for not a very long time where they are energetically.
I love that. And you've honed that skill, and that's kind of your own inner intuition, plus all of the modalities you've been in and learned about. So how did you get into human design and gene keys coming from fitness?
That is okay. So here's basically where things start to just unravel, but like it gets really messy and then it gets really good. Like
Yeah,
that's how it always is, right?
you gotta
Like
get
I feel
messy
like
first before we can clean things
the
up.
breakdown before the breakthrough. So I was in health and fitness for a really long time, obviously 22 years. And when I went out on my own, because I didn't like the parameters that like the guidelines and the government and like all these people were talking about, like, oh, I feel like this is wrong. I feel like, especially when it came to nutrition and all these other things, everyone was saying something different. Right. And I'm like, okay, I need to get out on my own so I can explore more. I've always been the nerd that's been reading the biology textbooks in the sauna. You know, the nerd that reads the biology textbooks in the sauna. That's a thing, right?
Yes, totally.
Um, I first met a doctor who really focused in on feminine hormones. So that's kind of where everything started off. Is I started to narrow my focus on not just releasing weight, but hormones. Like, how do you harmonize them? This affects women. It's like, I would say the number 2 or number 1 leading reason why women have a hard time releasing unwanted weight is because that hormonal imbalance. Now, this again, stay with me. This all connects to energy, I promise. So I started to work with my clients so that they started to sync up with their own cycles. And it's a little bit different than what a lot of people say. I just putting that out there. Some people say that you're supposed to work out this way with it. I kind of have a different perspective because of the doctors that I've worked with.
Mhm.
If anyone wants more information on that, I do have a book that's free, just throwing it out there because it dives a little bit deeper into the hormones. And after that, I decided to start an online program where I learned, I got connected with this person in Australia who works with top athletes and peak performance, and he does neurolinguistic programming. So I started to kind of delve into that, and I trained with him and learned about the beliefs and releasing unresolved negative emotions that are stored in your body. Again, everything is energy. So emotions and energy, all of these things are stored in the body. This can also have you holding on to weight. Like if you release these things, the number one thing I hear people say is, I feel lighter. And it's like, you physically are lighter because you're no longer holding on to that energy that is actually stored in your body. And just a side note, if anyone is listening to this, no matter how old you are, if you've never actually systematically released unresolved negative emotions in your body, you have a lifetime of them there. And the best gift you can give yourself is working with people who can do that on whatever realm that is for you. But it's a beautiful gift, and it will lift so much weight off of you, figuratively and literally. So once I did that, and I got rid of, because I was starting my online business, I had some limiting beliefs. If you don't know me, I had a really traumatic upbringing. I was in foster care, and my dad left before I was born. I have cases of sexual abuse and drinking and being homeless and going to jail, and like all of the, okay, it was pretty traumatic before I was 20 and before I had my son. So I had a lot of this residue, these limiting beliefs, these unresolved things, and I cleared that all out. And I thought I was good. So I'm, doing my program, and the first like 18 months of my business, I made 6 figures. It was incredible. I'm like, I'm living the dream. I'm manifesting the amount of money I wanted to. I just have to have these beliefs, and it seemed all good, and it was good. But then things started to crumble, and I started to put a lot of pressure on myself. And I was doing the work of I'm a single mom running this business, and I was working like I was a full team, and I really burnt out, and I lost my hair. I'm actually going to do a post on that pretty soon where you could just massive amounts of hair. I was desperate. I was depressed. I was, you know, literally on the floor sobbing, couldn't get myself up to go do things because clumps of hair were falling out. I was very stressed out. And it's so funny, I actually came across a program about writing. And the writer was talking about human design, and I had no idea what it was. And that's when I started to kind of go into it and understand my energetic code and understand how I was not living my energy type. And just being able to do that and understanding like my body is telling me what to do and what not to do, and understanding that my superpower is in my spleen. And so my superpower is instincts, it's intuition, it's well-being, it's survival, it's all of these things that I do, but I wasn't following because I had this and I always talk to high achieving women, right? Entrepreneurs and professionals. And a lot of times they come to me and their businesses are doing well, but their health is suffering.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm getting chills right now. I'm like, that's the missing piece. It's this energy piece. Like realizing, I already knew about that. I really started to dive more into the energy levels and understanding like down here is blame and shame, right? Like these low level energies that are under 100 that I can help people release with I do these things where we release these unresolved negative emotions. And then you have these midline energies between 100 and 200 where it's all about stress and overwhelm and frustration and cravings. And this is a lot of times where, you have that unwanted weight, but a lot of health issues. Like you can be making good money in the 190s, but if you're doing it from a place of lack and proving like I'm not enough unless I have this successful business, I'm not enough unless I'm making this money, or you get addicted to that energy, you can actually be making money and looking successful and on the outside and have this, but on the inside, your body is screaming. And realizing that energetically, you want to get to a place where you are aligning with your specific codes. And this is just energy, so like you feel good. Like there's an energetic measurement, and I call it the dream body at like 380, where you can have wealth, right? Like you're achieving, you're doing, but you can also have health.
Yeah.
But below that, you can't actually have both. If you have low level energies, you can have wealth if you have a high enough energy, but there's so much stress. There's so much frustration, overwhelm, even pride. And these low level energies will keep you from being able to have the health and the wealth, which is, I think, harmony.
Yeah.
And that's my intro. And then I started diving deeper and realizing, oh, different people are supposed to actually eat differently. This makes sense why what everyone was saying wasn't resonating with me. Oh, based on this, you need to move differently. Oh, based on this. And that actually I'm very deep when I learn things. So that got me into the gene keys. And so once I realized, once you start moving and honoring your hormones, and you start to flow with them, and you understand energetically how you're supposed to eat and move and listening to your body, then we want to dive in. Oh, and obviously getting rid of limiting beliefs and unresolved emotions. Like once you get rid of all of these blocks, The gene keys is like my heart, because that's when you start to dive in deeper and understand like your soul's purpose. And a lot of us are missing that key, like have a purpose, but we think it's this human desire. But really your underlying purpose that's going to give you fulfillment, because a lot of us are trying to fill a void, and that's why we end up gaining weight or stress, because we're trying to fill this human void when we actually have a soul purpose. And my soul purpose was planned out, and it's literally everything I've gone through. And I like to share that with people, because it's, as you bring up your energy, you begin to unlock your DNA, and you begin to unlock your gifts. So it's all,
That on so many levels. I'm here for it. Yeah. I've not delved into the gene keys. I just started learning more about human design, and similar situation, just like how we make decisions, where our authority is, and how we should eat for that authority and for our decision making. And it's brilliant, and it really resonated with me, and I've seen pretty much immediate changes.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's one of those things where, again, if I go back to just being able to trust yourself. So when it comes to, again, diet and exercise, being able to trust that your body is guiding you to the things that are best for you, and then having that confirmation. Like, it's usually when I give people confirmations on their gene keys or their human design or all of that, it's like a, I know this. Like, it's an inner knowing that I think gives people that trust that they're lacking. Because a lot of people, their biggest fear, and again, when I'm helping people release these limiting beliefs, there's always this fear. And what I've learned is that this fear really is, for most people, if not all people, there's an underlining mistrust of the universe and the patterns, and that it's all meant to be, and that it's going to work out, and that they can trust themselves. And like there's underlining untrust. And so this untrust, this fear of death, and am I going to accomplish, and am I on the right path? That if you can open people up to what's already in their DNA, like even the stuff they call your junk DNA, which is not junk DNA. It's where all the magic is. It's like where the generational like crud is, like the stuff that you're meant to work through is all in there. If you can help people release that fear, and part of it is physically releasing those beliefs that might not even be theirs, there might be generational, but then going a step further and giving them this like path that they know to be true, because you have that inner knowing, right? You have that inner knowing that when someone tells you something, you're like, oh, I already know that. And it's just like that beautiful confirmation that allows them to trust the whole journey and begin to trust themselves, because they begin to realize that their own inner authority, their intuition has been guiding them the whole way. It's just, have they been listening? And then if you're not listening, what are the cues that you are off track? An unwanted weight, I got to bring it back, right? The unwanted weight is a cue that you're not on track, because we're not meant to hold on to this excess weight, right? We all have different shapes, but the excess weight is not something that we're meant to be holding on to. It means there's a misalignment. It means there's a misharmony, that your body is trying to send you a signal, and you're either distracting it with being busy in work and career, or you're numbing it with food, or sometimes people even get addicted to exercise, because again, it's just a distraction of what is my body trying to tell me, whether it comes up as an emotion, whether it comes up as a bodily sensation. Like, you have those sensations that this doesn't feel right, but I'm going to do it because I have to, or I should.
Right.
Ugh.
That just, the energy around that is icky.
It's so icky that you feel the ickiness. Yeah. Like, people, I have so many people, and that are constantly fighting their intuition, and that's why they have low energy and they're sick, because every day they're getting up and they're fighting what their intuition is literally telling them and leading them to.
Yeah.
You know, it's heartbreaking because I see it all the time, and it depends on where you are with your journey, obviously. But again, a lot of times I speak to these high achieving women because, first of all, I know they have the energy to manifest their dream lives, but there's always something missing, right? There's always something missing. And a lot of times it's themselves. They're like kind of taking themselves out of the equation and they're trying to prove things to others. And I get that. I get that. Like, my business started off with, and I think a lot of people starting businesses, I need an affirmation that I'm worthy. I need to help someone to be enough.
Yeah.
But realizing that following your soul's purpose is enough. And it will lead to all the things that are actually meant to fulfill you. And it might not look like what everyone else is doing. And that's okay. And it's beautiful because it's all about the creation and being like, I'm authentically here. And this is what my soul wants me to create. And I'm going to create it for the satisfaction of creating.
Yes. And you hit on something really important. At least it resonated with me. It's not going to look the same to everybody. And I would say early on in my fitness career, I was, teaching 8-10 classes a week. You're addicted to the adrenaline, the feel good, the endorphins. But I was grinding it out 2-3 hours at the gym, 6 days a week, like probably under eating for the energy output. Like you said, checking the box. I'm doing it. I should do it. I can do it. Whatever it was to get that magic number on the scale or fit into the size that we thought was ideal at the time. And it had nothing to do with anything. It was that trying to fill the void from something other than myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Or letting society kind of dictate what your success looks like on a physical level, like with all these trends that come in and out, like for a while. And I think it's kind of moving out a little bit, which is amazing, was this artificial thick, thin situation that the Kardashians, I think, started, where that's not real. Like they're supposed to have big booties and tiny waists, but it's all injections and sucked out, and people are trying to lift and get skinny. And it's like, and the same thing for like when I was in high school, it was the 90s, 2000s, where it was, I mean, that was perfect for me because I think we talked about this maybe. That's like my body shape. That's just my natural body shape though, right? Like to have someone else who looks like a J-Lo, which is more popular now, to have someone like me try to emulate that, that's silliness if you desire it deep down. But I don't think most people do desire that, because that's more of a human desire that will never really fulfill. It's always going to be looking for validation from the outside. And it's like, how about we understand what our bodies are looking for, loving our bodies, having self-awareness, self-love, and self-care. And then whatever our bodies manifest is fantastic. I'm not saying don't, like, I work on my booty like every other day. I do. I'm in there working on my booty. I'm not saying I don't, but I do it in a way where I'm loving the process. I'm the girl in the gym who is dancing between my sets.
Yes.
Like half of my lifting is actually just me dancing and listening to music, because that's what brings my soul joy. And I might be at the gym for 2 hours, but I'm working out and I'm not telling anyone to do this. I'm just saying I will work out for 2 hours, but actually probably get like 30 minutes in, because the rest is just like I'm working out my energy, right?
Yeah. I love that. I dance in between my sets too.
Yeah. And the more I get into my energy, the more I just go, what feels really good? And my personality has always been, I don't really care what other people think. I'm an INFJ. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. But we could get into all the tests and all the personalities and all the energy. It's so much fun. But like, I've never really cared what other people think, and now realizing that I've been living in a box, thinking success is one thing, whether it's been health or fitness or my career, and allowing myself finally to just go, no, this is who I am. This is my path. The more my energy has increased, like everything just starts to flow so well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just give yourself permission to be you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Not worry about the Kardashians or J-Lo or anyone else. I mean, I loved Avril Lavigne. She was the 90s girl.
Yeah.
We were talking about like, skater jeans are coming back and like the 90s clothes. Yeah. There's room for all of us. And that I don't care attitude is important. Like, and when it comes to what people think about us, it's none of our business anyway.
Right.
Like, there's only so many hours in a day. And where do you spend your energy? Where do you want your energy to go?
Yeah. And yeah, always bringing it back to that energy. Like when you start to realize, and I talk about the energy chart, when you can actually visualize actual energy and you can see where your emotions are. And so like if you have some low-lying emotions that are stored in the body, once you release those low-level energies from your body, it allows you to be able to move up. So I always use an example of like an anchor in a boat. Like you have this boat on an anchor and the boat can move around. It can be up here in the high level, like getting courage and getting stuff done. You can be here where you're content, or you can be down here where you are anxious or craving food or filling a void. If you remove that anchor from those low levels, then you can move up higher. So what you want to be able to do energetically is be able to clear out the things that are stuck. It doesn't mean you're not going to go back into those low levels, but when it's no longer stored in the body, you visit them because emotions, energy, I use them interchangeably. Those emotions are just messengers. And they're like, here's a message you need. You want to resolve this because they're good. Like you want these messages and then you want to release them. So, in my program, I have something called the energetic creed, where it stands for C is for consistently. So where are you energetically consistently? And it can be a couple levels, right? You can be up here for work, down here for relationship, here for how you love yourself. And then you want to release those low level pockets. So that is the blame, the shame, the anger, the guilt, all of these icky things that a lot of times are subconscious. Like if you've had them, you've never really released them, especially when you're really younger. You'll have these emotions, or they can even start like when you're in the womb, generational. They can be subconscious. But once you release them, then you want to also learn how to process your emotions fully, right? So you're not restoring them. So again, not becoming a workout addict to distract yourself from stuff. When we talk about exercise in the Dream Body method or Dream Body Alchemy, exercise is not to burn calories. It is to increase your energetic level. It's to keep you from sitting in those low level energies. So it's like an energetic boost. And I know everyone knows what I'm talking about. You go for a walk, you go work out, you feel better. It's because it's increasing your energy. So it's kind of like a stabilization of your energy. You want to move every day to stabilize your energy. Stabilized energy is going to do way more for, manifesting, creating, crafting your dream body, your dream life than anything else. Like it really does help you release the weight because you're just going to have more energy. So if you're like someone who's like, okay, I got to just finish this project, or this season's going to be really hard and then I'll focus on my health, you are going to do yourself so much more of a favor if you go, no, every day I'm going to at least get in my 20 minutes or my 30 minutes. Like step away, move your body, because it's going to increase your focus, your productivity, your overall health, your well-being. It's going to keep your energy up so you're not spiraling down into these lower levels. So once you learn how to process, you're working out for the right reasons, then we talk about the second E. The other one was emotional processing. The second E, which is elevating. So you want to learn, how do you elevate your energy, your emotions, right?
Yeah.
So that takes into account a lot of things, like the music you listen to resonates on a certain level. The ocean, like if you're someone who is drawn to water, the ocean resonates at like 500. It just will just completely uplift your spirit. Things like meditation, your house, how do you have your house set up? But then again, if you go into specific codes, like now this is just energy as in energy, but if you want to be more specific, like a human design, like looking into your actual energetics and go, what actually increases my energetic levels?
Yeah.
And then the last part is D, which is discharge. And so we have like trauma and survival energy, also like it's like stress energy. And so we want to learn how to discharge that, because that stress energy can make our energy go in all these different directions, and it causes you to feel drained. And then you can easily downward spiral, and you'll downward spiral into, frustration and anger and cravings, and then maybe even, blame or, depressive type episodes. So realizing that there's ways that you can actually discharge that energy. It's different than emotional processing sometimes, where you can go out and ground yourself, or, there's certain processes that I have my clients do. So these are the steps that I've created. Again, it's called the energetic creed. And this is how you can actually like nurture your own energy.
Yeah.
Every day, have like a systematic approach of like, okay, how do I do it? This is how you do it. You understand the different facets, and you manage each one, because again, out of all the different things that I have my clients do, it's the energy management, it's the energetic creed that's going to allow you to tap into your dream body, which is really just a body that's in alignment, a body that's harmonistic, a body that just makes you a body you love, a body that does the things you want for, a body that's healthy, that has energy, just a body that is holding this soul of yours that just feels like an extension of you,
Yes. Instead of someone else's house that you're renting.
Right.
Yeah. I love that. So is this program something people can join anytime? Do you have a certain container?
So here's the thing. So I have been doing one-on-ones lately. And so the one-on-one, you can do anytime. I just have a capacity of I can only take on 5 people, because at each month, what it entails is like we spend a couple of days together where I go in and do all the releasing of the negative emotions stored in the body, all the releasing of the limiting and disempowering beliefs, all of the realignment and integration of the parts conflict. So like those internal struggles where self-sabotage kind of comes in, we integrate all of those. So all of the self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, emotional stuff, we clear out. So you're basically a new person in 2 days, but that takes a lot of energy and time. And then the rest of the time, we work on your specific strategies when it comes to diet and exercise, aligning it with your hormones, aligning it with your codes. And then we dive in deeper, and then we start to go, okay, what is your path? Where are you going? How are you aligning? And just allowing you to make mistakes and having that support and guidance so that we can come in and go, oh, when something else comes up, because things will come up. Your ego will come up, your self, like things will come up. And then along the path, we can take care of that so you don't have those setbacks. And then I haven't actually announced this yet, but I am, so this is the debut. I will be holding the first round of the Dream Body Alchemy group experience. So that's going to be in a month or two. People can be on a wait list. I'm going to have a really great early bird. So this is an extension of something I used to have called the Ultimate Feminine Formula. But the Dream Body Alchemy is diving deeper into the energetics, deeper into your personalized codes, deeper into like your DNA, your gifts, and how you up level them. So it really is like a full body transformation. And just if anyone's a little confused on human design or gene keys, maybe you don't know what either of them are, but they kind of play really well together. And I like to explain it as human design is more the energy, the doing. It's like the actions, right? And I feel like the gene keys is more of the being. It's more of the soul. So it's taking the human action and energy that we're here to manifest and create, and the soul's journey, purpose, like the evolution. So we marry the action and the doing with the being, because you need both, right? Because we're here in human forms. So it's a little bit of both. But yeah, so you can always work with me one-on-one, and then just it's limited. And then I feel like for people who are, if you have the investment, if you have the resources, we can make really fast, like rapid transformations in a couple days, and you don't have to do all of the video and the work. But if you're someone who has less resources, but you love the idea of diving in and learning and exploring, then the group experience could be more your realm. So it really just depends on, where you are in your life, whether speed or finance or ease, which one is going to be more important to you.
I love that you have the group and the one-on-one, and they're both still highly customized and
very customized. I can guarantee anyone who is open, who's ready for a really big transformation, it will be a transformation you cannot really like pinpoint. It's going to be like it's alchemizing, right?
Yeah.
Word alchemy, like it's that there's a reason for it, because it's all about changing your identity. Once you understand who you really are at the soul level, what really motivates you, what brings you peace, how you're meant to be in this world, like the cadence of your spirit, the rhythm of your dance, like all of that stuff. Once you really identify with who you really are and you unbecome who you thought you were supposed to be, it really does change the DNA in your body. Like it's epigenetics. It's going to change your DNA. It's going to up-level your DNA, and it will actually allow you to become a different version. It will alchemize you by actually changing your DNA. I know that's not a small explanation or a small, I don't know what to say, like it's not a little feat. It's quite big, but I've seen the transformation for the people who are ready to really change their lives.
And how long is the program, or have you seen the process take for this transformation?
I have it structured to be 3 months, so 12 weeks. So it's for the person who is able to dedicate some time, because I could extend it over a year. Like, because there's so much in there, but we have it as a 12-week. So you can get the basis of it. You have it forever. And then you can always join the community longer to really explore and ask questions. Because it's like, when you get to like the human design and the gene keys, once we've done all the neurolinguistic reprogramming stuff and we've given you your blueprints and all of that other stuff, those other things can kind of send you on a journey of their own, which is incredible. So I do offer support for as long as and depending on how long, most people who join are wanting to release weight. You don't have to release weight to be in the program, because the program is really just, anchoring in confidence and being able to be that version of yourself and truly embodied. But again, the physical realm, the physical transformation is going to take how long it takes. Like the physical body, the discipline in DREAM is going to take however long it takes, depending on your goals and your aspirations. So it can be longer.
Yes. I love that. Well, I would definitely link your website, your contact info. You mentioned the free book that you have as well. People can download. So we'll
So you
include
can
that.
download that, especially before I'm going to be rewriting it, but they can get the free version right now, either on my Facebook, or if you join my free group, it asks if you want it, and then I will send it to you. And I'm also on Instagram, so it's everywhere for people who want to get the Dream Body method and kind of get a really good, like, full picture of what it all encompasses. It doesn't talk about gene keys or human design necessarily. It kind of like, if you listen to this and then you read the book, you'll see where it comes in, but I don't actually like dive into it because there's no way to give it the time that it needs for how big those concepts are. That's why when people work with me one-on-one, it's easier because I can be like, this is yours.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Do you have any final thoughts or tips you want to leave with our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So, no matter where you are in your journey, I would invite you to think about what kind of story you want to tell and what kind of life you want to experience. Everyone talks about their to-do list, and I would really recommend and invite you to work on your to-be list. Like, who do you want to be? How do you want to experience this life? Like, what are the feelings and sensations? Really being able to tap into your body. We're so used to using our mind. And as we move into the future, we are going to go back into what is really supposed to be our compass, and that's the body. And so learning to tap into your intuition, your inner authority, which is a little bit different for everyone. That's a whole nother show. But like, really, who do you want to be? How do you want to feel? And allow that, like, trust in that your feelings are always guiding you. Your compass is in here, it's not out here. And when you start to trust in yourself more and doing whatever you can to do that, will lead you to where you're meant to be, because there's a path that is written for you that you came here to follow. You came here to learn lessons. You came here to evolve and increase your consciousness, and your body is the tool that you came here to do that in. So take care of it, listen to it, because it will lead you in the direction you're meant to go, and you must trust that.
Mic drop. No. Oh, I love that. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here and sharing all about the goodness that you bring to the world. And thank you to everyone who is here with us live. If you're catching the replay, definitely drop any notes or questions below. We'll come back, read them, answer them, and I will share all her links in the show notes so you can connect with her and follow the breadcrumb trail wherever it leads you.
So exciting. Huh?
Well, thank you, Melissa, for sharing some of your day with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome.